Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So we have done a video like this before. A few weeks ago, I looked at a bunch of Odd-Eyes dragons that were never used in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 anime, and in this video, I decided to look at an even more iconic and classic dragon archetype, and look at some monsters that were never used in the anime, the movies, or even the manga. And that is the infamous Blue Eyes White Dragon archetype. So in this video, we are going to go over 9 Blue Eyes Dragon monsters that were never used in Pyramid of Light, Dark Side of Dimensions, Bonds Beyond Time, the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, basically every single piece of official Yu-Gi-Oh animated media. With that said, let's begin, and I hope you enjoy. Number 1, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. So this is one that I'm sure a lot of Duel Links players are going to have PTSD over, as there are a few monsters on this list that Duel Links players will recognize quite well. The design of Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon is honestly gorgeous, and even though it takes 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in order to fusion summon it, the artwork depicts a fusion of 2 Blue Eyes alternate White Dragons instead. Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon is the only fusion Blue Eyes monster that does not have 4,500 attack and 3,800 defense, and it's the only fusion monster that is not a level 12 in the Blue Eyes archetype. This monster was actually shown during a YCS scripted duel between Dan Green and Eric Stewart, voicing Yugimoto and Seto Kaiba in 2016, I believe, but this fusion monster never showed up in any movie or anime, and its effect reads that it must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by sending the above cards you control to the grave, in which case you do not use polymerization, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. It cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. At the end of the damage step, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by the battle, you can banish that opponent's monster, which is a really great effect considering Twin Burst cannot be destroyed by battle. So even if you attack a monster that has 5,000 attack, you'll take a little bit of life point damage, but then that monster will get banned by the effect of Twin Burst. It's a very, very good monster, and it's one of the only fusion Blue Eyes monsters that Kaiba did not use during the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. Number 2, Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. So this might be my favorite designed Blue Eyes monster ever. There is something about this monster that reminds me of like a boss fight in Dark Souls or Bloodborne. It doesn't even really look like a Blue Eyes monster to me. It's so majestic and ethereal that I cannot begin to even describe how awesome this monster looks. It's basically an alternate version or a counterpart of Deep Eyes White Dragon, which was used by Kaiba in the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. The card effect reads that if this card is special summoned, you can add 1 ritual or 1 fusion from your deck to your hand. During your end phase, you can add 1 level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. All level 8 or higher dragon monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. You can only use each effect of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon once per turn, and can only activate them while Blue Eyes White Dragon is on your field or in your graveyard. So if this monster is special summoned, you can again add a ritual or fusion, which could lead to maybe a bigger and stronger Blue Eyes White Dragon monster on your field. It's a gorgeous monster, would have loved to see this animated, but alas, Abyss Dragon was never used in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Number 3, Legendary Dragon of White. So this is the only Blue Eyes monster on this list that is an XYZ monster, and I'm not even 100% sure if this is technically a Blue Eyes card, because Blue Eyes is not in the name, but obviously it is supposed to be a Blue Eyes monster. 3 level 8 monsters are the requirements for this XYZ monster, and the effect reads that it must be XYZ summoned and cannot be special summoned any other way. If this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0 while it has an XYZ material attached that was originally Dragon type, you win the match. So it's a pretty interesting effect. obviously it wouldn't really work in an anime sort of things because the match refers to, I believe, a best of 3 and not really just a straight up duel. You don't really see too many best of 3s in Yu-Gi-Oh! The other huge issue with this is Seto Kaiba never XZ summoned. That was one of the many mechanics that Kaiba just never utilized. Maybe if he was in a show like Arc 5, he could have utilized an XZ summon. That was one of my favorite theories down the stretch, that Kaiba was going to appear in the show, but alas, he did not. XZ's never part of Kaiba's repertoire, and Legendary Dragon of White is exclusive to the card game. Number 4, Blue-Eyes Solid Dragon. Blue-Eyes Solid Dragon is a really cool dragon, and the first thing I noticed about this card was that it looks very similar to the Blue-Eyes White Dragon Jet. I'm not sure if anyone else kind of got that vibe. Also, the name Solid Dragon most likely is a reference to Solid Vision, which is the technology utilized in many of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. The wings also kind of look like dual discs. It's got a lot of references, and it would have been really cool if this monster was actually shown to us in the anime or in a movie even. The effect reads, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can shuffle this card from the field into the deck, and if you do, special summon one Blue-Eyes White Dragon from your deck. You can only use each effect of Blue-Eyes Solid Dragon once per turn. The attack and defense stats and even the effect that Solid Dragon has does remind me a lot of Dragon Spirit of White, which is a monster that will be appearing later on in this video, and is a monster that is very commonly used in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Blue-Eyes Solid Dragon would have been really cool to see animated, but it never was used by Kaiba. Number 5, Blue-Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Oh, baby. This card design is absolutely sick. It's one of the most terrifying Blue-Eyes monsters that you will ever see. And obviously, this card is a Blue-Eyes Ultimate Dragon retrain. It has the same exact requirements to summon Blue-Eyes Ultimate Dragon, where you need to fuse 3 Blue-Eyes White Dragons in order to get this behemoth onto the field. Its effect reads, your opponent cannot target or destroy this card with effects. Once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card was fusion summoned using a monster whose original name is Blue-Eyes Alternative White Dragon as material, you can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls instead. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. So this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. It cannot be targeted by card effects. It is a complete nightmare to deal with. The design is incredible. It's really a Blue-Eyes Ultimate Dragon card that actually has card effects, which is really terrifying. The attack stats, the defense stats, it's a crazy intimidating monster, and I would have loved Kaiba to use this at some point, even if it was in Dark Side of Dimensions. Unfortunately, Blue-Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon is exclusive to the card game. Number 6, Dragon Spirit of White. This is another card that will give Duel Links players PTSD, and even just looking at this card, I get the chills thinking about it, going up against the plethora of Blue-Eyes players in Duel Links that I constantly go up against. Dragon Spirit of White has 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense, and it's either a younger version of Blue-Eyes White Dragon or Spirit Dragon. It kind of reminds me a little bit more of Blue-Eyes Spirit Dragon, but it does look like just a younger version of a more polished out Blue-Eyes monster, which I really, really do like. Its effect reads that this card is always treated as a Blue-Eyes card, and when this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and banish it. If your opponent controls a monster as a quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon one Blue-Eyes White Dragon from your hand. If you've played Duel Links, you know this card very, very well. Would have been cool to see Kaiba use it, and it is another Blue-Eyes monster that was never used in the show. Number 7, Blue-Eyes Spirit Dragon. This is one of the most gorgeous Blue-Eyes cards ever created, in my opinion. I actually own a YCS Giant version of this card, and one of my favorite things about this particular Giant card that I own is that it has a typo. 1 tuner plus 10 or more non-tuner Blue-Eyes monsters. Obviously, there's supposed to be a space between the 1 and the word or, so it's a very unique Giant card for that reason, and it's one of my favorite Giant cards to date. Little fun fact that gives me a bit of a personal connection with this card. I believe this is the first Blue Eyes synchro monster that was ever created, and it is one of the only Blue Eyes synchro monsters to this date ever made. It's another card that is utilized quite often in Duel Links, and while it never appeared in the anime, it did make an appearance at the YCS 2016 duel between Yugioh and Kaiba, the same one that Blue Eyes Twin Burst appeared in as well. I know Spirit Dragon appearing in the show really never had a chance, but if Seto Kaiba was going to be in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 anime, maybe he would have brought all of the summoning mechanics with him, and we could have seen a card like Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon if he did appear in Arc 5. He never did. Kaiba never used Synchro, and so for that reason, Spirit Dragon obviously was never in any of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Media. Number 8, Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. The only ritual Blue Eyes on this list, and I believe the only ritual Blue Eyes monster that never showed up in any of the pieces of media that Seto Kaiba was in. This is obviously a baby version of Blue Eyes Chaos Max, which is a monster that we saw Kaiba use against Yugi in the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. This also seems like it could be the Chaos version of regular Blue Eyes White Dragon, holding the same amount of attack points, which is 3,000 attack. It is a really, really interesting and cool monster, and I'm kind of surprised that we did not see this in Dark Side of Dimensions, since we did see the upgraded version in that movie. Its effect reads that you can ritual summon this card with Chaos form. It has to be ritual summoned. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If this card was ritual summoned using a Blue Eyes White Dragon, when it declares an attack, you can change the battle positions of as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, the attack and defense of those changed monsters becomes 0. Also, this turn, if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. I love that last effect because we know the upgraded version, Chaos Max Dragon, does double piercing battle damage, so I love when the upgraded version has an even stronger effect of what its baby version has. Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon is a really, really cool monster, and it is a shame that we never saw it animated. And lastly, number 9, Azure-Eyes Silver Dragon. Before I get into it, I know I have to say that this is not technically part of the Blue Eyes archetype. I'm aware that this is really not a Blue Eyes card, but I feel like it is so heavily associated with Blue Eyes. It's used by Blue Eyes players in Duel Links constantly. It even appears in the Silver's Cry spell card, which is a Blue Eyes support spell card, and so I feel like it should still qualify for a list like this, even though it's technically not a Blue Eyes monster. This card did appear as well in that WCS 2016 duel between Yugi and Kaiba, voiced by Dan and Eric, respectively. This is kind of viewed as the synchro version of Blue Eyes White Dragon. It looks very similar to Blue Eyes White Dragon, and its effect reads that it can be summoned with one tuner and one or more non-tuner normal monsters. If this card is special summoned until the end of next turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you currently control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by card effects, and once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So I'm sure there will be plenty of debate as to whether this card should even be included, but hey, Azure-Eyes Silver Dragon does wrap up this list as Blue Eyes monsters that never showed up in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. And that wraps it up, guys. 9 Blue Eyes Dragons that were never animated in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. Seto Kaiba has appeared in a lot of pieces of media, not only the entirety of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime and manga, but he also appeared in the Pyramid of Light movie and the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. And so there were a lot of these dragons that were out when Dark Side of Dimensions aired. Unfortunately, he only got, I think, like 2 or 3 duels in that movie, and so it would have been impossible to throw all of these Blue Eyes monsters in it, even though a lot of them are really, really cool. But guys, let me know what your favorite non-anime Blue Eyes monster is. Let me know if you feel that I missed any, and let me know your rankings of these down below. I did not rank these for this video, by the way. I just kind of read them in random order, so just keep that in mind. And if you have any other characters you'd like to see me do this for, please let me know down below. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace May, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, and Jarrett Bueller. And to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, Fasty, and Eric Avia. And to my Egyptian God tier patrons, MegaWill and Ccapacappuuu. Thank you so much to everyone who supports me on Patreon. I cannot tell you how much it means to me, and I highly recommend you check out my Patreon. It is a link down below. There are a lot of really, really cool perks that you can get if you sign up to be a Patreon and if you want to go that extra mile to support this YouTube channel. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. I stream on Twitch, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram. Links for all those will be down below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all the support, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.